Welcome to episode 198 of the Blue Recluse. My name is Martin Larsen, and you're listening to the podcast about everything Blizzard. It's Sunday, the July, the 29th, the 2018. A lot of this. Tom, how you doing? Do you have some water we can borrow in Denmark?
Some water? I thought you were going to actually, I was going to say, in Denmark, yeah, but also perhaps in a certain city in the continent of Kalimdor could be requiring water very soon. And I think I've frozen.
Yeah, you need to cool down as well. It's an amazing picture, by the way, of Tom freeze framed on the live stream. So let's jump over to the US. Michael, how you doing? Do you need water over there?
No. I mean, we could use some that falls from the sky, but whoa. Okay. Don't mind the whole image shifting thing. That's all Tom's fault.
That's a glitch in the Matrix.
I'm doing well. I'm a bit tired because last night me and Selena were watching Alien, and she has like a plushie of the face hugger, but it has like a smiling face, and she kept attacking me with it. So, I'm doing well. That's a weird way to open the show, but let's do it.
I have no clue what the hell is going on today. We have no image. Tom is freeze framing. Michael is talking about aliens. It's going to be a good show.
Oh yeah.
Let's start it. Countdown. 3, 2, 1, go.
Here I come. I sense something elusive. By fire be burned. Stay a while and listen well met. You are not prepared. This better be good. Existence is mysterious.
Loud and clear. Hello there.
Greetings, traveler, and welcome to the Blue Recluse.
So, did it help you, Michael, that I did a little countdown with aligning the intro video and stuff?
I've started going off of the sound, so like right when I hear the Kerrigan intro, I push it right then because
Nobody wants to hear this. Nobody cares about this.
Shut up, Tom. All right. So when I hear the Kerrigan intro, that's when I do it.
Okay. All right, Tom. You tell us what do people want to hear about?
I want to explain why I froze. I accidentally hit ice block.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
So in Heroes of the Storm,
The segue though.
So, do you want to tell us? We're moving into.
No, keep going. Don't.
All right. High Inquisitor Whitemane. It's difficult for me to say. Is the latest heroes to be added to the roster in Heroes of the Storm. Who saw that coming?
Nobody.
Is that a good pick?
I don't mind it.
That's what everyone's been asking for, haven't they? High Inquisitor Whitemane.
No,
Every list I've seen for top 10
since
heroes
they
and
won.
Heroes of the Storm.
Why is she not in?
Yeah, when you think of healers, you think of her, not Anduin or Valen or anyone like that. You're like, where's High Inquisitor Whitemane?
I gotta say though, from a classic Warcraft perspective, probably one of the most memorable VO lines in a 5-man dungeon. Just saying. Arise, my champion. It's epic. I remember the first time strolling into the cathedral of Scarlet Monastery, and you're taking down her, and who's her like sidekick, paladin?
Who cares?
Champion, her champion. So you beat him down, and then she comes out, and then she resurrects him. You're like, oh my goodness, this is intense. Multiple enemies that can return from the dead. So that's kind of what I hold dear with this hero.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that's fine.
I have no connections to the character as a whole, but I saw the kit that they're bringing with her, and it seems pretty interesting. It's actually a healer-based kit that is based off of your damage done to opponents. So the more damage you're dealing in the moment, you can put Zeal onto your teammates, and the more damage you do while the Zeal is up on your teammates, the more healing you'll do to them. So it's not like exactly a ranged healer, like sitting in the back lines just healing and not trying to get in the fight. It's more of like, hey, I need to get in the fight if you want me to heal you. So it encourages team fighting and things like that.
Is this still how discipline works in World of Warcraft. That whole.
I mean,
doing
I was
damage
about
to heal.
I was about to say if you play World of Warcraft and you play a disciplined priest, then this probably sounds very familiar.
Yeah, I saw that in the chat.
At least the Legion version. At least the Legion version. I don't really know. I think they're changing things up a little bit for the BFA version. I think it's a little bit more shield oriented. But yeah, it sounds very familiar from Legion. Sorry to interrupt you, Mike.
Oh no, I didn't know much about it. I saw it in the chat, and they're like, "Oh, so it's basically a disc priest," and I was just like, "Sure, why not?" I thought it was supposed to be a paladin, but okay.
Yeah, no. Apparently, she's a disc priest. Hereby confirmed.
That's gonna make you happy, Marty. I mean, being a fan of the priests, getting more priests in Heroes of the Storm.
One. Getting more priests to add to the collection
More
of
priests.
one.
That one. Yeah.
It's a priests.
No. I
So
don't think-
Anduin's not in Heroes.
No,
of the Storm,
Anduin's
is he?
not in the
No,
game. Velen's not in the game. Uther is a paladin. The Holy Paladin.
That's not a priest though. That's just a filthy paladin.
They heal.
They wield the holy light, is what he's trying to say. Okay, I guess it is kind of strange then that the first priest is Whitemane and not maybe somebody more notable
Prolific.
like Valen or Anduin, especially like right now. You kind of feel like with the whole leading up to Battle for Azeroth, like Anduin's in the limelight, Sylvanas is in the limelight, but Sylvanas is already there, so they
Is
usually
it
do.
true? Sorry, go on.
I'm gonna say like usually with around the time of expansions. I mean, we saw it with Legion, where I felt like we had kind of Medivh, and we had like Gul'dan entering like Heroes of the Storm around that time as well. It felt very kind of thematic within the Blizzard world of tying into a Warcraft expansion.
Yeah, I was just wondering if they this time around is like keeping those sort of characters away from heroes, just to not take away from them for the upcoming story in BFA right now. Maybe that could be a thing. I don't know.
Not just that, but I think that Blizzard also, when they go into it, they consider how the healing will feel. They don't like your traditional. How would you differ a priest necessarily from how Morales heals, where it's just like a steady beam? So I think they're having some of the issues in creating a character is how can I make their kit true to form but also interesting to play, because not a lot of people like to just play the Mercy Beam style where you're just flying around healing people just with a straight beam. So and I guess that's a
true.
problem that World of Warcraft sometimes faces too, is like, oh, if you want a cut and dry healer, probably Holy Priest is the way to go, but it's not always the most interesting.
And Giggles in the chat is saying, have we decided what Anduin is yet? Is he a priest or a paladin? Because he has a sword. And all I'll say to that is, go read Before the Storm, and
Yeah.
then come back to Blue Recluse next week, where we're going to be talking about it all. And you will find an answer right there.
Indeed. I think that we had
That's a shameless
decided
plug.
I think that we had decided long ago that nobody wanted him to go like the Arthas route where he suddenly became the paladin, because once they saw him like picking up the sword on the Broken Shore, they were like, "Oh, is Anduin now going to be a like a paladin instead of a priest? What's going on there?"
I don't think like picking up a sword kind of enrolls you to being a paladin, though, does it?
No, but I also think you have to sort of like separate game mechanics from lore, because in game mechanics a priest can't wield a sword, but I mean, if you want to look at it in a real world perspective, then obviously you can pick up a sword regardless of what class or whatever.
Unless
your
it's like
profession
Sword in the
is.
Stone, Marty, like Sword in the Stone. only
Yes,
that
then you have
only
an
certain
issue.
people can pull
Yeah,
that sword.
that is true. That's true. No, but because he's a priest, and he's not the warrior his dad was, but that doesn't mean that I mean he's a lore character, so obviously he has had training because he's a king, right? So
He's OP.
But,
You can use any
yeah.
weapon in the game.
there we go.
Even bows.
His is the only artifact weapon that is still active.
Yeah. Bloody bastard! I want mine back. So. Yeah. Anyway, High Inquisitor Whitemane coming soon to Heroes of the Storm, and it looks interesting. I don't know. For me though, I'm still very much at the moment in love with how Alexstrasza works as a healing class. So I don't know, but I'll most likely give this a spin as well.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna go in once it's on live. I don't usually like going into the PTR and playing because it's obviously open to change and things like that. I do peek in and see what other people's opinions are because it might be representative. So I like to have an idea of where they're kind of headed. But I do usually wait and then play it myself just to kind of experiment and see how it feels personally.
Does Whitemane have an ability to resurrect?
Not that I noticed, no.
I mean, that's
not that I remember from the video, Michael.
Well, that's just a complete betrayal
Yeah,
of
I don't
her,
remember.
her voice lines.
I like how
Just
everything is
please-
based off that one thing for you.
It was epic. It was epic, man. When you
this
first
priest doesn't have combat resist, Tom. You should know better. Come on.
I'm
then
disappointed
again-
by that. I'm disappointed by that.
Yeah. But then again, for this piece, it wasn't called seal either. So
I didn't think
that
so.
sounds-
It's
that
a
sounds like
paladin.
spell.
Yeah, it's a paladin thing.
So there we go, Marty. If you want to get into,
I mean, well, they are paladins, right? Like the
Wait,
whole, yeah, they were all paladins, right? And they just kind of separated from
fighting the scourge.
yeah, once the Lordaeron was taken over.
I don't think they were just all paladins. They were just a breakaway group of people that were like, we will kill everything.
They were the Inquisition.
Yeah, it's like the living, the dead. If you're not wearing a scarlet tabard, you're an enemy.
Whoops.
Fun fact: as
So-
a low level player, I kept dying over there because I kept running through and aggroing too many people. And they
Oh yeah,
kept-
that's a classic kind of move when you're a low B kind of undead, and you venture just too far off the path, and you end up at Scarlet Monastery. You go, why do these mobs have this kind of gold portrait, and
Yep.
and why is their level question mark? But it's okay, they're humans.
I was like, why is this so close to my area? Why am I supposed to be coming near here?
Oh, those are good old days. That kind of reminds me of venturing into. Obviously, you can't do it anymore now with the scaling, but with Trustful Glades as well, where you had Western Plague lands, and you went in there, and then the first thing you got attacked by was this diseased bear. I mean, lots of people must have got killed by that diseased bear.
Oh
And
god.
he's got a high
I
kill
did.
count. Like, whoa, Plague lands! This is so. Oh, and I'm dead. Okay.
I know I got attacked by it, and I ran into a player as well who was like whispering me. He said, "Hey, dude, what the hell are you doing here?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm just exploring." And he
Turn
said, "Yeah,
back.
You should turn back. This is too high level for you." And I was like, "Okay, I'll try. Bye, Mr. Random Dude."
Yeah.
You know,
Don't cross. Don't go to the Western Plague lands
no,
Until
unless
you
you're-
are ready.
until you're ready to
Until
deal
you're
with the
ready.
bears.
champion.
There's a recommended
Alright.
level on the map.
All right. So also in that other game that we don't play too much, Overwatch, is something happening because a new hero is now live in the game, and that's the wrong sounder. That's
so
the right sounder.
anticlimactic. So
It
anticlimactic.
was.
Oh, here's the sounder. Oh, it's the end of the show. What?
This show is over, guys.
This show is falling apart by today, isn't it? It's
It is
literally
totally.
falling. Somebody get the builders in and stabilize these foundations because the blue recluse. I don't know. I feel like we've got a hole in the ceiling. We've got buckets catching water, or it's tables are on fire. But I mean, war is coming.
Hello.
I don't even know how that fits in, but okay.
I don't know.
It fits
So
in because
anyway.
it doesn't fit in.
Exactly. So in Overwatch, something new has happened. A new hero has been released.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Redemption.
Wrecking Ball. The Wrecking Ball is now in the live game. Has anyone of you jumped in and tried it?
I have not tried it, but I have seen Wrecking Ball on Selena. She's been playing it, or she's been playing the game. I think she did a few rounds as Wrecking Ball, but I saw more other people playing Wrecking Ball against her, and I don't know what is going on, but half the time he's just spinning wildly, and he's like flying up in the air as this giant ball. But the best thing ever is when he dies. Because he like explodes out of his thing, and it's just like he's so small inside of the giant mech ball. Weird thing.
Definitely
I don't know.
gonna to see that a lot. I'd suggest if I jump in there. And actually, just speaking of Selena, Michael playing something that's spinning around a lot. I know she gets a lot of motion sickness sometimes in certain games.
Yeah.
Has she experienced it with Wrecking Ball yet, or is that?
She hasn't mentioned it, but she hasn't
Okay.
played a whole bunch of them, if I'm being 100% honest. Like, she is my window into Overwatch. I logged in today because yesterday she logged in and got like 2 free loot chests. So I logged in to get some, and I did not get any, so I turned it right off again. And that's the most I've logged into Overwatch in like a month, so...
Sounds
yeah.
like a rage quit. Sounds like a rage quit.
No loot boxes for doing nothing, I'm out of here.
I've seen videos, funny moments and stuff, and I've seen a few from back when it got onto PTR with just wrecking ball attached to something in the ground and just going around and round and round and kicking people away and just murdering everyone. I don't know if that was intentional or if it's still in the game or what it is, but it looked amazing.
I don't know.
Yeah,
So-
I wanna get in back into Overwatch actually, and this could be a good time. New hero drops and obviously
Yeah.
some freebies in the game right now.
I don't know where
So
those
that-
freebies are.
Oh,
They're
you
not
get the
active.
freebies? Is that what you're saying?
No. Yeah, I logged in to get
That's
the
why I did.
freebies, and
Right,
I didn't
okay.
get any.
Was it some sort of Twitch thingy?
I
Twitch
don't know.
Prime?
I don't know if maybe she like backed or endorsed like the winning team. I know we're getting to that, but
No,
sometimes when you
Nope.
back winning teams in the game, you get stuff for them, or maybe if you bet them to go a certain way. So I don't know what
Okay.
she got, but the game did not give me anything.
You would feel like as 3 people doing a Blizzard podcast, we would probably know about that and probably should be educated behind that whole reasoning, wouldn't you? But like we say, it's all falling down today.
So what is this winning thing you're talking about, Michael? This is a winning team. What is it?
The winningest team.
Yeah, so yesterday was the Overwatch Grand Finals for the Overwatch League, and London Spitfire are the champions. And not only are they the champions, but they kind of dominated the final game, like the final series, and I think they played Pittsburgh, I want to say. I think that's who they went up against. I think they went up against Pittsburgh. Let me just double check. Oh, sorry, Philadelphia. They went up against Philadelphia Fusion, and Philadelphia Fusion said, we played really happy and we played our best. We tried our best and the attitude was really good. But then a player on London actually said, I didn't think it would be this easy. Next year, I hope we play a stronger team.
Wow, that's
Boom.
pretty.
Shots fired. Anyway, I think
That
there's
is
nothing.
bad. That is bad sportsmanship, isn't it? Like, I mean, if you've just
But-
won a big championship, which this is. It's the first season. I think they're taking away like a pot of what, $1.2 million split between themselves, something like that.
Mhm.
If you've just done that, just say, "Oh, it was a good game. See you later." That's all you have to do. Go and enjoy your money. Don't start saying stuff like,
There's no
"Oh,
reason to shit on the other team.
Yeah, I mean, come on. That's just.
Typical British people.
I mean, but then I always. I did. I don't think there is like one English person in London Spitfire, but I think I said from the start, London Spitfire. That is the team to watch. It's the closest team to me and Marty. It's probably no coincidence. That's why they won. I mean, how many teams do you have in America and you still didn't win? Well, I mean, there we go. That's me trash talking you.
Oh, great job. Great job. Great job.
Great job. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, really great.
Awesome.
I don't even know right now. I don't even know.
Feels like the closer we get to 200, just
It's just going downhill from here.
it's bad, isn't it? This is not one year we're gonna remember.
I was rooting for the Korean team. What are you?
Yeah, I was a big fan of Shanghai.
The Shanghai Dragons? You mean like the ones with like the worst,
it
if not
Shanghai?
the second worst record?
No, it wasn't them. It wasn't them. Oh my goodness.
What were their colors? Was it like the all black and silver?
Yeah, black.
That was the Korean ones.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
Soul
Dynasty.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's who I was going for at the start. Yeah, and then
Only
obviously-
because of that lush skin, right?
Oh, that's
That-
cool.
that's right.
You got a free skin. I chose the black one because it looked amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
I chose.
So-
I went behind that team strictly because of their in-game skins.
I was the worst supporter ever. I forgot their name. I
Right.
was like, they're black. They.
You're over there with
Wait.
like, London. Yeah, I'm.
Yeah. Now I'm just like, yeah.
I'm
now like,
somewhere near there. You're just a bandwagoner, Tom.
There's only an ocean between us, or a sea between us. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I didn't really watch that much of it. But I
wanted
mean,
to
it seems
watch
like
more.
a huge turnout for the grand final. It was out in New York, and they had like a packed stadium, 25,000 people, great atmosphere, and I feels like kind of for a first season, it seems like it's gone pretty well. I mean, I haven't really heard too much with regards to like technical issues or things like that. There, I think production value was sky high. We had the final on ESPN as well, and it seems like a great advert for what they're trying to achieve here. And it's not going to be totally perfect, after 1 year, but it's definitely a great foundation, and I believe the roster is going to be expanded for the next season as well. So that way we have more coverage. We're going to have like the Overwatch League going on tour as well, which it's going to be pretty awesome to kind of open up those channels to like get more people maybe attending these events in person, like the finals. And I think that's going to generate a lot of hype and get more interest. And as that builds up, more people are going to be looking into that as well. And it's, I think well played Blizzard for this, and they've got the ball rolling. And let's see how they
Wrecking
continue
ball
that.
rolling.
The wrecking ball. Yeah.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Never delete that sounder.
I hope Selena appreciated
Never
that.
The what now? What now?
What now? No, I think I watched too little of it. I should have watched more. But for me, it's mainly just a time issue. A lot of the time, I find like I do so much other stuff as well. So it's hard to find time to actually sit down and watch like a full game and stuff. But I have trying to keep up a little bit with like watching like recaps and stuff like that, and it looks good.
Yeah, I
And
think
for-
if more like easy accessibility to highlights is something that I feel like it's going to be the way to make it even more accessible for people, because making that commitment to watch something live, a lot of time, but getting like a highlight reel of the best bits that you and I'm sure there's somebody out there doing that.
There's a YouTube channel. I don't know if it's a Blizzard affiliated one or if it's someone else just doing it. I can't remember on top of my head. I'll have to look into it again. But they actually did a good job just doing the recaps of it, and that's what the ones I've been looking at. Cool.
I might need to check that out, because pretty much when it comes to esports, I only watch nowadays Heroes. I did catch some StarCraft like last weekend. It was I felt very nostalgic. I wanted to go get a Dunkin' Donuts coffee, because I used to wake up in the morning and go to Dunkin' Donuts and get a bagel and coffee and then watch StarCraft 2. And now it's a thing of the past.
Speaking of StarCraft 2, actually this morning I was just lying in bed with my laptop, and all of a sudden,
Way.
no, I was just watching random YouTube videos because we didn't feel like getting out of bed this morning, and then I actually found one thing that popped up in my feed was the StarCraft 2 Honest trailer. And I started watching it, and my girlfriend was lying next to me and doing her thing on her phone. And then she was just, at some point, she was just looking over because she was listening to it as well. And then she just said, "That must be a really bad game." And I was like, "It is."
Wow. What the hell is going on here?
No, she didn't know honest trader, so I had to explain to her and show her some other ones that
My
what honest trader
favorite.
actually was.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it's that one or not, but I remember there was something where they showed like that awesome cinematic for StarCraft 2 where like the Archon is fighting the Ultralisk and it's like pinned up against the wall, and then they show you the in-game version and it's just like an Archon just zzz, and then it's just Ultra whoosh, 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 whoosh. And it was
Yeah,
pretty funny.
It wasn't that one. I
It's
think
like
it was.
expectations versus reality, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, looking forward to season 2 of the Overwatch League. I have to watch more of it. Yeah.
I would definitely check out, if you check out one piece of highlights, check out the highlights from the final, and because it was put together quite well, the video I saw. Again, I don't think it was through an official Blizzard channel, but it wasn't just capturing what was happening in game, it was capturing the atmosphere of the stadium as well. I feel like that's an important thing to portray if you're if they do kind of find a way to distribute these highlights, is let's get the crowd, let's see the players, let's obviously see the action, what's happening in the game as well. But that's a complete package to me. When you watch highlights of a sports event, it's not just what happens like on the field. Sometimes you've got stuff happening in the crowd, or that energy is an important part of kind of carrying that whole process forward.
Yeah, most definitely. It would be nice to see some of these things happening on EU soil as well.
Yeah,
so we can go.
for sure. I mean, I definitely, if like that was really accessible, like an event came to town, I would definitely go. I mean, even I'm not the biggest
I don't think the chances that the events will come to your town is that high.
I don't mean my.
You don't even have Pokestops in your town. What? Why would
I don't mean my
everybody?
town. I mean, like if it came to like Ireland,
Yeah.
In Tom's
obviously-
village?
Yeah.
If you hit the straw hut, you've gone too far. It's next to the log cabin.
Oh, I wish we had log cabins. That would be nice.
I think that's more of an old school
But
American
yeah, I mean, if
thing.
it was on soil, I could travel a couple hours, and I would definitely go, because, it's whole different perspective, like actually physically being at an event than kind of watching it through a screen. And sometimes you just need that, like, it's like in sporting events when like the dad takes his kid to his first soccer game or first baseball game, something like that there just inspires something inside of you. And yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, more kind of accessibility for the world around, because Overwatch League to me, it's not just kind of America. It's going to open up the whole world, and want to get everyone involved in that.
America.
I think it's pronounced America.
We're not
All
qualified
right.
to say that.
All right, so let's move on to some World of Warcraft news, because stuff has happened this past week. Where should we start?
Wherever you
Alright,
want.
Let's start with the
Where I want. All right,
the
let's
important
start at
stuff.
level 1. At level 1, what you have to do is a lot of commercials has come out and being shown the past week, right? Past few weeks.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I was definitely the first person to comment on them in Discord. Definitely the first one.
I just love that on our Discord we talked about it for like half a day about these new commercials, and then all of a sudden Michael decided to join the show and linked one of the commercials and said, "Oh, have you guys seen this new commercial? It's amazing!" And I was like, just scrolled to 3 lines up, and we already talked about it there.
I
I
was
was just
at work while
patting
you
Michael
guys
on
were
the
just
head.
chatting, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know what you people do all day, but you just have all this free time, and I'm working. Discord is like, I ended up stopping the notifications on my phone because it just keeps going off all day from all these people that never work, apparently.
I work in front of the computers, and I have multiple screens at work, and one of those screens is dedicated to Discord. Like,
Wow. There you go. He'll never miss your message again.
But the the commercial that he was talking about was the one that had they're on the bus and this guy is about to sit. He has 2 choices. He could sit next to the swole guy, the big guy on the bus is like tattooing his own arm, or he can sit next to the like the nice girl sitting over there, and she's on her laptop, and he smiles at her. She like pulls down her laptop and smiles back, and he notices that there's an alliance sticker on her laptop, and he like immediately goes to the other side and starts sitting next to the big guy tattooing himself, and it cuts to see like he has a horde symbol on his bag, and they're like, yes, it's that serious.
They're
like
really marketing this whole Horde alliance again, aren't they? And I don't think I've really seen it like this for maybe ever, especially just the various channels of, you know, this Horde alliance, this war that's just about to happen, and you know, choosing your side and bringing back the whole faction.
And it's like everything. It's not just these commercials. It's also the book very much hints at that confrontation. It's because the pre-quest line that leads into the expansion first part of that came out this week as well, and that one is very heavily red
Horde are
versus
bad
blue.
people. Horde
Horde
are bad people.
bad people. Yeah.
Bad guys. We always knew it. We always said it. They were bad guys. Now we know.
Yeah.
I want to
know
give,
for sure.
speaking of Horde, I want to give a shout out to Fist, because I've kind of been living vicariously through her and her posts recently. I saw a post that she put up where it was a big fight in front of Stormwind. It seemed like the Horde was trying to invade Stormwind because of the new war mode, and it was just a huge fight, kind of like those ones that I remember when I first picked up the game hearing about. Were like, back in the day when there was world PvP, we used to raid Stormwind or Orgrimmar. And I'm like, it's actually happening like right now. It's something that I thought wouldn't really be a thing, except if you watch like that Taliesin and Evitel video of just both of them trying to sneak in. But they're actually doing it, and people are actually fighting out in the world, and Darkshore is a bit wild sometimes if you're trying to do quests and you're just like, oh my god, there's so many people fighting over here, I can't turn it in.
So but the commercials, they are amazing. I went straight to Blizzard's YouTube channel and watched all of them, and I think, well, some of them are better than the other ones and than the others, but all of them are pretty good, and they have that same theme. So it is back to red versus blue again.
It's almost like propaganda, isn't it? All these videos of you know, choosing your side and you know, making that big decision, and especially with kind of what's happening in game now with the pre-expansion events. And if you are reading the book, it definitely adds fuel to the flames, so to speak. You know, it's about to happen, and you know, it's what happened in Legion at the Broken Shore. I mean, that has become a foundation for this, I think, and just because the Legion kind of interrupted that, and now you kind of seeing things from different sides, and it's interesting to see how this is actually going to pan out, because the Horde of you know, from this first week of pre-patch or pre-expansion events, they're taking the initiative. They're making a push to take the Alliance down, and obviously we kind of know how this unfolds for now, but it's just
well,
like...
I guess we know where we'll end up, but how we get there and what happens on the way, we're still very unsure about. And I know that you, Tom, you found some, well, you heard some rumors, and let's not go into that because it might spoil things if they are true. But there is a lot of rumors as well going around about what's going to happen, right?
For sure. Actually, I'm totally oblivious to rumors right now. So if I said something, I've just totally forgot it. So that's good.
Maybe I was streaming it then. I don't know.
I think like a lot of people said at the start. I mean, we're expecting some sort of old god influence here eventually as well, and because you know, Jaina went a bit off the rails. Sylvanas is, you know, acting a bit erratic, and you know, there's this Azerite pouring out everywhere. Nobody's not too sure if it's actually, you know, good for you or not. You know, it's like vaping. You know, it seems like it might be a better alternative, but actually, you know, 10 years down the line, we're going to find out actually it's really bad, and you should probably not have done that. But there's definitely got to be some undercurrent here, and this is, it's setting up something big for some big repercussions of how this is all going to fall out. It's very excited to kind of see how it's going to play out.
Marty, did you do this scenario on both the Alliance and the Horde?
I did.
So I don't know if I missed something because I've only done it on the Alliance side, but it still seems
point.
like it kind of came out of nowhere. It seems like I logged in when the quest line came out, and then all of a sudden the Horde is like attacking, and it kind of like became very sudden. So unless like the Horde side had like really like, hey, we're doing this because of blah blah blah, it seems like, just like what we were talking about before, there's a gap between the book and the game that still has not happened yet.
Yeah. The thing is, I can't really tell you for sure where this is coming from, because I've read the book. I'm not going to spoil it. We're going to do that next week. But I will say though that I feel like I cannot. Me as a player who's watching from outside, I don't feel like I can't trust anything that comes out of Sylvanas' mouth at the moment. My in-game character obviously is believing that what she's doing is just that this is probably a good idea to do, but sitting back and watching it, I'm sort of like, I don't get, and I know this is probably a big thing out there at the moment, I don't get how the people playing Horde can support what's going on right now. I don't get how.
Because they're bloodthirsty barbarians, Marty.
Exactly.
That's what they are.
It's a bit extreme.
Giggles in the chat is recommending to, if you do have like multiple characters, is to do the Horde kind of side of things first. And I obviously have only done Alliance because I only play Alliance, and one faction guy. I don't swing both ways.
You're not bi-factional?
No, I'm not. Would you recommend that, Marty? Would you recommend does that make more sense, or does it? I heard strange things about that. It didn't seem as bad from the Horde. Like they went there and then it was more made out that like the Horde were attacked and they had to retaliate. And is that not true?
I don't think we see that playing through anything. It is sort of like there's information that we're being fed from somewhere, Sylvanas most likely. So that's why I'm not really completely sure that I can trust her.
She just like, hey, champion, come on, let's go to the Night Elf area and pick some berries and slay some druids.
Oh no, they picked the berries before you. Now we must attack them.
Oh, that did crack me up about the Alliance side of things. It was like, yeah, kill the Horde. And also kill these wild timber maw, because instead of trying to be like, hey fuzzy bear,
hey fuzzy bear,
and we saved them early on in the quest line, so now we have to kill them.
No, we kill some of them. We kill some of them, and then we go and save some of them.
When you're leveling up, you're saving them, and now we're killing them. So.
Yeah, it's I would have rather had the fuzzy bears on our side. When it comes down to everything that's going to happen. Some might say that was the biggest mistake Malfurion made. It was not getting the fuzzy bears on side.
Maybe it is.
Saying.
We'll see soon enough. But and to answer your question, I think it doesn't really matter which one of them you play the first. I think, but I think if you want to play them in a more of like chronological order, then the Horde one starts before the Alliance one. So there is a little bit more leading up to it. But I definitely think you can play it however you see fit. It doesn't take too much away.
The hardcores would suggest do the first 3 quests on Horde side, then switch over to the Alliance, do 2 quests, then switch back over to the Horde side.
Something like that. Yeah, that sounds very plausible.
It's probably something like that.
I did want to bring something up, and that's the quest line itself right now, and how I wasn't even playing for like an hour, and then I was already done. And I know people in my guild were like messaging in the guild chat, was like, oh, is this where it ends? Because I don't really know. And then everyone's like, yeah, you just end up here and then you wait till next week. Like,
yeah, I think it's probably not that clearly communicated what's actually happening right now, and that is like
we needed a to be continued. It was the screen needed to
something
fade
like
black
that,
and be
or-
like to be continued.
yeah.
You're like, is that it?
Or they could have
Because I
done
also-
something in game.
Yeah, I mean, it is sort of like both sides are waiting for something to happen. For instance, on the Horde side, they're waiting for they're sending what's his face, the orc,
Surfing?
Sarfang. Yeah, they're sending him through. They're sending him through Felwood to do a sneak attack, surprise attack, or flanking attack, or whatever.
Oh, I know what happens there.
You do.
I played beta. I'm not gonna say it. I just know.
So.
I know
yeah.
things.
But oh no, it's actually it's nice, something new happening in game. It gave me a reason to play the game and actually log in and actually had fun with the game, and actually playing it on the Horde side, because I have my priest, my original priest actually, that I made the very first day I logged into World of Warcraft, is the priest that I played. He has transformed from a male undead into a female blood elf, though. But that's just what happens. It's life. It happens to everyone.
Times
Yeah.
change. Yeah,
Exactly.
I really enjoyed the like Michael says, very short, but just kind of logging in, and yeah, maybe we needed a bit more explanation behind that, but maybe it will come. But heading up to kind of a classic zone, and we've seen that a lot with Legion, is kind of visiting older areas and almost repurposing them, and that's actually something I've enjoyed in Legion. Is going back to older areas, and there's current content happening in it, and it's very exciting with the whole scaling system that seems to be opening up a bit more as well. And I think we saw like that kind of system used in Silphus as well. I had to think about how to pronounce that one again. But just actually logging in and seeing Malfuri and seeing Sylvanas and just being in the same space as those characters, that always feels good to me. That always feels really epic and exciting when you've got the big dudes, out on the field, and they're saying, "Well, we'll do this," and Sylvanas like, "Whee!" And it's like, "Oh, what's gonna happen? This is big. Usually when the the leaders are out, so somebody's gonna die or something, It's like, oh, but again, it does end very abruptly, which puts a bit of a sour taste to how that played out. But
it's sort of like watching a good series on Netflix and then discovering that it's one of those series where they release an episode every week, right?
Yeah, or they canceled the first season, and you're like, oh no, or canceled like the second season, and you're like,
How did they cancel the first one?
I don't know.
One thing that I felt while I was playing it, which was pretty good, was just how good it feels in World of Warcraft to like when you have a purpose to like just go through the questing experience, like just doing that, because we've been doing Legion endgame content for a long time now, so it feels like there hasn't been like really moving quests that give you stuff, and just getting back in there and doing that, just it felt really good. And it's like, this is why this game is still where it's at, is because it's one little thing that's just able to capture you in so much.
And as Tom,
Go ahead.
and as Tom said, I just love it when we go back to old zones, because I've spent so much time in those old zones leveling and just having a good time back in the days when I started out. So just going back and they're really using that, it's amazing. And I hope, I know we say it on every show we talk about this, but I really hope that they'll do more of this when we go back to old zones.
Yeah, and I'm hoping with regards to this is that the focus is taken off our characters as being like these greatest champion leaders. I like the focus being back on, like the war chief of the Horde, the leader of the Alliance. I want these characters back in the spotlight. As much as it was fun to be like the wielder of artifacts and having all this power, I think it's better when we've got more just powerful characters around us. And I don't mind taking orders. I don't mind being, the guy that has to go off and do the missions. And I don't want to be the king. I don't want to be the the leader. I want to see these characters come in and do their thing, because that's why we play World of Warcraft. It's for these characters, not for us. Like we should be the followers, not collecting followers and telling people what to do. We shouldn't be telling what the people do ever. We should be the people to obey.
Speak for yourself, okay? Whenever I load the game, okay, I put on the Imperial March from Star Wars, and I walk up into Stormwind Keep like, Anduin, you can't do anything.
And you equip your lightsaber
Yes.
transmog. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
I played SWTOR. I have it. I have the.
Good. But yeah, but after I did the Horde side, I actually stayed on my Horde priest and went into Battleground.
Oh.
And I can tell you that I have won like 85% of my matches as a Horde player, or something like that. And then I was like, oh, I'll jump in, play a bit of my Alliance character as well, just to balance things out. And I can tell you that after of 3-match losing streak, I was like, all right, screw this, I'm going back and playing Horde, and then I started winning
The
again.
Alliance were doing perfectly fine until you joined the Battleground. But that's not.
They were on a 5-game winning streak, and then you came in.
Actually, we never talked about that. It's probably a great time to go back to Battlegrounds because they retired Strand of the Ancients. That's gone now. It's been put on the resting pile.
I actually liked it. I liked.
I liked it in theory, but oh my god, I think
I just disliked people not understanding how it worked.
That was me.
But I actually got to play the new one as well, and I can say that I completely I understand the objectives, but I'm not completely sure how.
Is this the one in
it
Silphus?
works anyway. No, it's not. You airdrop in. It's very like Fortnite-ish, where you respawn. You respawn on these carriers, and then you jump in. You dive in, and you can basically fly to whatever area you want to. You get like a goblin rocket or whatever to boost you forward, so you can go. Every time you respawn, you can go to whatever area of the map you will, and you get.
So what zone is that based in?
The objectives?
Yeah. You said the new Battleground. The new Battleground?
Yeah, it's the new Battleground, Seething Shore, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And the objectives are to gather Azeroth, and whoever collects the most, whoever collects 1,500 the first wins. So it's a resource-based one. But I really like that. Because a lot of the time, a lot of the other battlegrounds, when you die, you get back at you rest back at your base or whatever, and then you have to mount up and run all the way back to the action. With this one, you just rest up, jump off the ship, and then you're pretty much immediately back in the action. So it seemed pretty good fun, but I only tried it like once or twice. So I still have to get into the whole feel for it.
I just want to bring up the fact that last week we were talking about how World of Warcraft got broken by the latest
By
patch.
the patch.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
You were doing Chromie, right?
I was doing Chromie, and boy, that went from being a very sort of manageable project to suddenly feeling like a real hard mode. I thought I got my kind of artifact challenge back, and don't get me wrong, I enjoyed trying to beat that again, but it felt really off, and Chromie was just like I think I called her a paperclip last week. I think, but she's back, and they made some changes to health and damage and everything like that. So now everything feels really, really easy, too easy. So yeah, it's too easy now, and I managed to go through Chromie and complete that. So it was good to get Chromie. I love the fact that we've had a couple of roguelike elements in Legion as well. We had the those what do they call those mana eating, those Valinor dudes way back in Suramar, where you did the runs with the, I can't remember their names. Oh, it's been so long.
Oh, the small scenario where you needed to train the those guys.
What are they called? Help us, chat. Help us. What are they? So we had that, and then we've had like the depths of Chromie. I think like 2 awesome, cool little mini games that they dropped in, and I think that's I love little stuff like that actually, because we've seen it maybe a couple of times over the the years. I remember like in I think Cataclysm, there's a Plants vs Zombie game out in Hillsbrad foothills. If you don't know about that, that's something that, I think a lot of players would come in and never probably hear about that. Like that actually gives a pet. So
It gives a
that's-
pet, a singing flower, sunflower.
Yeah, that's cool. I love little things like that. I think like the Chromie thing was fun because there was like rare spawns as well that you could go and kind of collect those time time compasses or hourglasses. That's it. Names. And that was just fun. And I don't know
Yeah.
who was trying to kill Chromie. Didn't really find out.
I don't think we ever find out, and I think that's the only thing I have with this scenario is that it felt like it was just something they put in, and it wasn't too thought through. It didn't really have an ending and things like that. That's the only thing. It didn't feel like it was connected to this expansion, like lore-wise. But besides that, I had so much fun doing that, and I did it because you get a transmog set for completing it, and there's one for each type, so mail, leather, cloth, and plate. And so I actually went through with every type to get all the transmog sets, and it was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I hope that this is something that they'll look more into and do small things like that. I can't say that I liked the other one done though. The one in Surma, it was I don't know.
The Withered
it wasn't
training.
my-
That's it. That's what it was. The Withered.
the
Withered
Withered
Army.
training.
Yeah.
I hate that thing.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
I don't.
loved it.
I didn't think you were a tank, so it was probably fun for you. But for me, no, it was not fun.
The only thing I didn't like about it is I still never got the fox mount.
Yeah, I want that as well. So I actually might have to go back and keep doing it at some point.
I don't think you will.
That's
That's like one of those things. You're like, yeah, I'll get
I'll
back
get to it.
I've been saying that about the Orgla daily quest in the Burning Crusade. I've been saying that for about 6 years.
Also, I haven't one of the last achievements in Cataclysm to finish off all the questing ones for Cataclysm. I still have to do that. It's been sitting there since Cataclysm. I'm like, oh, I just can't be bothered.
I mean, you don't
So,
have.
yeah.
This is like perfect time. This is between
I know.
expansions. This is where you clean up on a couple of things that you've been holding off
That's
on. and-
so much to clean up on by now, though. Can they just give us a few years without an expansion? What is this?
Wow, I mean that would go down.
You
that
stop
would go
playing
down.
when that happens.
I don't know. You can never satisfy a WoW player, I guess.
But I feel like I think we're in a good spot with like the
Oh yes.
amount of time between expansions, and my only worry is because of what happened in Warlords of Draenor and the amount of time Legion had to be kind of produced, and they had a bit of extra time compared to Battle for Azeroth. And I know on the the lovely channels of Reddit, people are getting worried that this expansion might not be up to the same sort of standard as Legion. And
Dude,
to
are
that
you
I would just
saying-
say
Nomi hasn't cooked it enough yet. Is that what you're saying?
it's still in the oven. I mean, to that I would say we can never judge expansions until we're probably sitting at this point right now where we can sit here and go, yeah, Legion, great expansion, did a lot of good things. Obviously, there's always going to be things that we're like, no, probably, that's not going to be
Probably
too well
leave
remembered.
Nomi where he is.
The only thing I feel a bit empty, just having spent a whole expansion, kind of collecting gear and leveling up that artifact. Now the artifact, that whole tie-up process, I felt that was a little weak, and now you can go to the dark shore, and do daily quests there and get the kind of some good gear as well. And it just feels like I could have just logged in right now and avoid all that. But obviously you wouldn't have experienced it as it was current. But I just feel a little bit deflated with how the whole artifact thing wrapped up, because that was the big investment, and I was always worried about how that was going to play out with us wielding these legendary artifact weapons, but the name tied to that. I was always worried about how that was going to resolve. And now it's like, oh, here's a new weapon that's better than Ashbringer. It's called the War Maul of Bongo, and this is why you want to you just throw that Ashbringer away now. It's like, what? Really? This this weapon is so legendary, and
Yeah, I think it was one quest line basically. Go speak to Magni, fly up to a ship, press a button, and then that's it. That's over. That's what happened to your weapon. And so yeah, I'm with you here. I feel like they could have done something more, because with a longer quest line, they could have made this whole event way more epic than it actually is right now.
They
Yeah,
could
make
have
it
they
flow
could
a
have
bit
made it
better.
so you did it in order to defeat Sargeras.
That as
Like
well.
yeah, like in order to bring him back, you would have to do that. Like I think that would have been a good way to go.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyway, I still think overall, Legion has been a really good expansion, and we have right now. We're just looking forward to battling for Azeroth.
Yeah.
So it's a good kind of thing to go to after almost having your world completely ended. It's just going back to the basics of
Back to basics.
Okay, let's go back to our petty squabbling over land, and forget about that. We were almost just all wiped out. Let's get back to basics. And
I mean, but that's just
improve.
nature. I think, like, if you think about it logically, like, that's how it's going to go naturally. I mean, it probably wouldn't go as quickly as it is in game, but if you were to think about just the world as a whole, like, that's how things would go. You would start off as, like, coming together for this big thing, but at the end of the day, your differences would probably still be shown after the whole big conflict, and then smaller conflicts erupt. Like, that's just how the flow of nature goes.
No, I think you're right, because it's like in real life when you're worrying about something really big, and then that moment passes, and the next thing you're just worrying about, oh, have I done the laundry today? It's just that sort of thing.
That's a constant battle I have. Like, that's the
That
big
is,
bad
isn't
in
it?
my life is laundry and dishes.
That's probably the big thing. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Will I have pants today? I don't know.
I hope for you and people around you that you will.
That's okay. You can only see my head. You can only see my head.
I don't know why it's like
that. I think this is a perfect time to end the show and say thank you for listening, and let's jump over to the bar and close it down, right? Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Last orders! Last orders!
Before we leave completely, though, we just want to say one quick thing, and that is that next week's episode is going to be live streamed a little bit earlier.
That's right.
We're going to live stream it around 4 p.m. Central European time. I don't know, Michael, what is it for you?
I think it's 7 a.m. for me.
The sun won't be up. That's what time it is.
The sun is up. It just doesn't show on my side yet.
Because what we're going to do is we're going to have a special book club episode on Saturday, where we are going to talk before the storm. And the reason why we're changing the time is so we can have 2 other lovely guests from the Blizzard umbrella joining us. I said lovely guests, they're just guests. They will be joining us as well, and we'll talk about the book, and we'll probably spoil it as well. So if you haven't read it yet,
everything.
we're
gonna
spoil
spoil
It
everything.
is going to be a spoiler cast.
yeah. So if you haven't read it yet, finish it by Saturday, and if you can't finish it by Saturday, save this episode for later.
Yeah.
I think that's the word.
But it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one.
It definitely is. So also remember, stay around, because after the show we have the freshly baked, freshly report coming up. So stay around for that.
I don't know how he
let
did
us-
that this week, because he told me he was on vacation, and somehow he's managed to keep up his end of the bargain.
I cooked something up. I imitated him and made my
Oh
own
really?
dish.
Okay.
Yeah,
That'll be interesting to listen to. You'll never know. You'll never know the difference.
So if Fresh has a slight accent this week, then you know why. Let us know your thoughts about anything we've talked about on this episode, or if you have your own questions, feel free to contact us. Tom, how do people do that?
You can email the show at theblurclistpodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. at the Blue Recluse, and we also have our Discord, the bluerecluse.eu/discord. There we're posting videos to do with World of Warcraft, and we're commenting on those videos. And then 6 hours later, Michael is then posting the same videos and trying to be relevant. That's what happens. Sorry, Michael. Leave us an iTunes review if you love what we're doing here. That really helps. We also have our Patreon, patreon.com/the Blue Recluse, where you can support the show.
And if you support the show, then we'll do better shows than we actually did today.
Don't make promises we won't live up to.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Can't remember where I was. Something to do with Twitch. Yeah, we're on Twitch. We stream this live. You come and join the chat room. We have people in there, lovely people that join us every week to kind of correct us when we say wrong things. That's always good. So twitch.tv/the Blue Recluse. And you can find all that information and more, including our show notes for this week's episode, over at thebluerecluse.eu. And I totally forgot. I was like, is it .eu or .com? But guess what? It's both, because
we're somewhere on the internet. We're somewhere.
Just don't go to Stormwind.
Don't go to Stormwind?
Yeah, we're not there.
Oh, we're not anymore. Is that a spoiler?
Take us.
Oh, yeah.
Take us out.
Sylvanas is coming for
Take
you.
us out. No, take us out. Just go. Just go.
Bye.
Welcome to the Frasley Report, a short news report by me, Frasley, the Awesome Gnome, to deliver your weekly World of Warcraft news. With Battle for Azeroth looming ahead of us, one question still remains. What is going to happen to the Broken Shore? Now that the Tomb of Sargeras was raided in Legion and the portal was closed, opportunistic Gart Hagglesnap has decided to build a resort here. Seeing the tourism potential of people visiting the tomb, they have decided to open the Resort of Sargeras. With the defeat of the Burning Legion, the Broken Shore lies empty and in a state of chaos. No one has laid claim to the land, so Gart decided to take it upon themselves to build a resort.
As some people don't care about sun, in fact, some would rather look out into dull gray. Most goblins would build in a paradise like Azara, Feralis, or Teneris. But I decided to go where no one else is. Plus, the land price was free, as no one wants it. We are a stone's throw from Dalaran. Many people are going to be traveling to the Broken Isles anyway to show their kids what happened during the third invasion of the Burning Legion. So I decided, hey, why not?
The Resort of Sargeras will open in the next year. Bookings are already underway. Hagglesnap is already looking for investors. The underground lava lakes will serve as natural energy for the hot tubs in the spa. Gart says this helps the resort be environmentally friendly and green. This has been the Frasley Report. I am Frasley Sparkspan. You can find the show at frasleyReport.com. Until next week, be awesome.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.